One of the largest tank battles of the 21st century has recently taken place in eastern Ukraine, near Vuhledar. According to estimates, over 130 Russian tanks and armored vehicles were destroyed in the past 3 weeks. Since the beginning of the war, the Russian military leadership continues to make the same mistakes. There is a lack of coordination between different types of units, poor communication among troops, and oversized tank columns. Additionally, many Russian tank crews lack experience, and the leadership of the Russian army has shown itself to be inadequate for the task at hand. In light of these issues, the Russian military leadership sent 130 tanks and their crews to their deaths in Vuhledar. The Ukrainians were well prepared for the Russian convoys and engaged them with well-planned ambushes. A Ukrainian lieutenant stated to the New York Times that they first noticed approximately 15 Russian tanks and armored vehicles approaching in a column on a dirt road via drone surveillance. "We were ready. We knew something like this was going to happen," he said, adding that they lured the Russians into a trap along the road. During the ambush, Ukrainian infantry equipped with anti-tank missiles like Javelin and Stinger and supported by artillery from afar engaged the Russian tanks, while anti-personnel mines littered the adjacent fields. The Russian tank crews panicked and attempted to flee as rockets rained down on them, but many of them fell prey to deadly landmines, which blocked the escape route for the remaining tanks. The artillery also destroyed several fleeing tanks and their crews. According to the Ukrainian lieutenant, similar tank columns arrived in the Vuhledar area for 3 weeks. In one instance, they even used a HIMARS missile system against the Russian tanks, which is uncommon as these missiles are typically used to destroy ammunition depots and barracks, not tanks. The Russian military bloggers were outraged by the significant loss. Since the start of the war, a significant portion of experienced Russian tank crews has fallen, and they were replaced by freshly trained, inexperienced soldiers who could not match their predecessors' performance. These inexperienced soldiers can easily panic on the battlefield or respond poorly or slowly in certain situations. The lack of Russian tanks was also evident in the fact that one of the captured Russian tank commanders was a recently transferred medical officer who was not adequately trained as a tank operator. The New York Times also pointed out that the Ukrainians are also struggling to find enough tank crews. During this particular battle, one of the Ukrainian tank commanders was a 20-year-old who had just received his training on the first day of the war and was essentially trained on the battlefield. As a result of losing the tank battle, the Russians were forced to change their tactics and are now attempting to advance using only infantry attacks in Vuhledar. The Russian military bloggers were also vocal about their criticism of the Russian military leadership's mistakes. The Gray Zone, a Russian Telegram channel linked to the Wagner Group, stated on Monday that due to the failed attacks near Vuhledar, the fallen soldiers' relatives could rightfully kill or seek revenge against the Russian general who ordered the attack. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads. We appreciate your support and hope to see you again soon.